All right, Stephen Brindle, Associate Strength Coach at the University of Pennsylvania here, and I'm gonna go over how to back squat with one of our throwers, Tim Sanstra, okay? And we're gonna be going over the high bar back squat. First thing you wanna do, once you master a body weight squat, so first I would have an athlete master that, is the athlete should then approach the bar, and I'm gonna go over a few things, and then Tim, I'm gonna let you go through. This is probably better suited for you. The bar should be slightly lower than your shoulders, okay? And then you're gonna get underneath the bar. So first, is that good? Then slightly lower than the shoulders. He's gonna get underneath the bar with 2 feet. It's gonna be very important that he has 2 feet set all the way underneath the bar. Go ahead, underneath. All right, his grip is gonna be dependent upon his shoulder flexibility. Wide grip is not bad. It just means he doesn't have as much shoulder flexibility. The narrow grip is not bad. At that point, okay, the bar should be resting on his upper back. He's going to shrug into the bar before he unracks it. The elbows, once he stands up, stand up. Both feet should be straight. He's going to take 2 secure steps back, maybe a third if he needs to. All right. His toes will be pointed slightly out to allow him to get the full depth. At that point, okay, we want to be shrugging into the bar. We want to bring those elbows together so he can pinch his shoulder blade. It doesn't really matter if the elbows are too far up or too far down. What matters is that his shoulder blades are pinched and that bar is on his shelf the entire set. At that point, we want a neutral head, okay? So his head is going to be straight forward, not up like this, and not super far down like that, okay? We want to keep his head in line with his spine. He's going to fill up with air through the stomach. He's going to stay tight. He's going to get the full depth with his butt slightly below his knee and back up. And he'll exhale at top. You want to keep your breath super tight the whole time, and then you're not going to breathe out to the very top. He wants to think about his big toe, little toe, and heel being screwed into the floor so he can push through the middle of his foot. Not necessarily the heel, but the middle of the foot. Big toe, little toe, heel are screwed in like you have a nail gun drilling through your feet. Fill up with air, eyes are locked. He's going to get his depth, control on the way down, explode on the way up, not allowing the knees to do valgus and cave in, but pushing those knees out. Fill up with air, eyes are locked, get to full depth, and stand up and rack it in nice and secure. Notice how he took 2 steps out, he was secure, wasn't wobbly, and notice how we have his rails set up so that if he had to dump, he could dump. There's no obstructions in the way of his feet. So the bench is rolled out, everything's clear path for him to go out of the rack and in the rack nice and safe. High bar back squat. So a couple of mistakes to avoid on the high bar barbell back squat are going to be to do an abrupt descent without locking out the knees first and letting the bar settle on the back. Watch this. Kind of just abruptly goes down. Do one more. Just abruptly goes down. Another thing to avoid is going to be cutting depth. So there we have a good setup, but he's cutting depth. Another thing to avoid that's a common mistake is going to be to not keeping the hands tight, not keeping those shoulder blades pinched together and letting the bar slide around the back during the rep. Bar is sliding, grip is not tight, he's losing his upper back tightness. Common mistakes to avoid on the back squat. All right, we're going to go over how to teach the barbell bench press, primary upper body strength movement. All right, here with Louis Vecchio, one of our D linemen here at Penn. And we're going to go over some things of what to do and also some common mistakes to avoid. All right, the first thing he's going to want to do is to get his feet set. You want a stable base the entire time, and once you get your feet set, you do not want your feet to move. Okay, we want to be able to drive through the legs, all right, the entire time. From there, he's then going to get his back set. He wants to get his shoulder blades pinched into the bench. Okay, so here on our racks, we're going to push against these black rails. Then we're going to do the rule of thumb. So you're going to have his thumb start where the knurling begins, and then come over to his palms. Nice, tight, firm grip with rigid forearms. If he wants to go a little wider, that's fine. We're primarily going to go not crazy wide to reduce stress on the shoulders. Elbows will stay in tight. From there, he's going to unrack. He's going to fill up with air, and he's going to bring the bar down right to the nipple line while keeping his shoulder blades retracted, and then explode. Control on the way down. Fill up with air, and then explode. Fill up with air, and then punch. Notice how his feet are set, his butt is down, his back is down, his head is down. Put up with air, down the nipple line, elbows are in tight, and explode. One other thing, you want to act like the bar is a stick. You're trying to break the stick in half so the elbows will come in tight. Not out here like this at that end. Pull up with air, and press. A couple things to avoid are going to be sliding over the feet on the way up. He's going to go down. In order to get more weight, he starts sliding the feet. You want to avoid that. You also want to avoid the butt jumping to get more weight. You don't want that. We also want to avoid his head coming off the bench. You want the head to be stable on the bench. Good, and if I was spotting him, I'm spotting with 2 hands, not just 1 hand. He's gonna get a full lockout, full range of motion, bringing the bar all the way down to his chest. Do one more correct rep. And explode, and rapid. Barbell bench press. Hey, it's Stephen Brindle, Associate Strength and Conditioning Coach at the University of Pennsylvania. Gonna be going over today how to do the conventional deadlift, okay? On the conventional deadlift, here I have Jay Hammond, one of our defensive backs for the football team, all right? So, on the conventional deadlift, you're gonna want your feet to be placed the same as you would do a vertical jump. Not crazy wide, not super narrow, but it's gonna be around hip width where you would do a vertical jump. From there, the athlete is gonna approach the bar with the bar around where he would tie his shoelaces and then all the way against the shins. You wanna have a vertical shin angle. This is gonna allow the bar to go from a straight path with no interference, with the knees being way too far forward. We don't want that. We want a vertical shin angle. Then he's going to squat down into about a half squat position. Eyes can be a little bit lower, so we have a neutral neck. Nice flat back. All right. His weight is going to be on his heels. His arms are straight. His arms are relaxed, but a really tight grip. He's going to fill up with air, and he's going to let the shoulders and hips rise at the same time. And retrace his path. He's going to fill up with air again. What he's going to do is we have 135 pounds on the bar. He's going to take the tension out of the bar by trying to put around 134 pounds of force into the bar without the bar leaving the ground. So he's not going to yank it off the ground. It's going to be very controlled. Fill up with air, tension out, and up. Shoulders and hips rise at the same time, retrace. He's going to hold that breath until the very top. Fill up with air, nice and tight, nice flat back, and go. Shoulders and hips rise at the same time. All right? Again, sit back on the heels more to get around the knee a little bit easier. Fill up with air, and go. Good, retrace. Okay, a couple things not to do on the conventional deadlift. He's gonna let his hips rise really quick before the shoulders. Go ahead, let the hips rise up quick. We don't want that. Even more pronounced, let's get another one. Exaggerate that, really let the hips shoot up like that. We don't want that. Okay, you're gonna put a tremendous amount of pressure on the lower back. Now let the bar get away from you. So the bar is gonna come away from the shins. All right, that's going to be more tension on the back and inefficient in trying to lift heavy loads. One more time with that bar coming away from you. We don't want that. In order to prevent that, you're going to tighten up with the lats, with the correct rep where he's pulling in with the lats. Okay, to keep that bar nice and tight to the body. Activating lats, and go. Good. And then lastly will be a common error is going to be to try to yank that bar off the ground, get a lot of elbow bend, and try to yank it off the ground. It's going to be real efficient. Try again with more elbow bend. Just try to yank it with the arms. Again, one more time. Elbow bend, Jay. What we're not trying to do. See that? Trying to lift it with the arms instead of with equally through the legs and the back. Conventional deadlift.